I'm just on Broadhaven Beach right now. 45-50 mile an hour winds, not very nice. Had to get out early because the tide's due to be in at 11 o'clock in the morning, which means I have to, the only time is like very early. Tide's already coming right in, so I'm not going to be doing this long. But I wanted to tell you a little story about Broadhaven anyway. It's well known from the 1970s for UFO sightings. A similar story to the Bermuda Triangle, but here in Wales. There's like 3 villages in a triangle around here which had UFO sightings in the 1970s. It was very, very famous at the time. All the UFO spotters came here looking for these UFOs. I haven't seen any pictures of them from the 70s, but there were hundreds and hundreds of witnesses, so it must be true. Now you see this on the beach quite a lot, but I've never seen it so intense as this. Look at this stuff, it's like the top of a pint of Guinness. I did have a guy who wanted to come down to the beach and meet me today. He's been in contact with me for a few days now. And I'll say, it's the same for everybody else. I really can't give a time when I'm going to be on a beach. It all depends on the tide, on the weather. Like today, I'm not going to be here long at all. So I can only pin it down to this particular hour. So I will try my best to be on the beaches on the days I say I'm going to be on the beaches, but I really can't promise anything, I'm sorry. And it's not my fault, it's the wind and the weather and the moon and the tides. All I can do is my best. A nice fishing weight there. Whew. This beach, by the way, it's got a Blue Flag Award, which means it's one of the cleanest beaches in the world. Still rubbish, but it's very, very clean. You're not going to see them through this, but there's actually like 4 oil tankers on the horizon there. And I remember earlier in the trip somebody telling me that they just sit there waiting for the price of oil to go down before they come into Britain to actually sell the oil so that they get more money for it. And they've been sat there for 2 or 3 days now since I got here. No, this is no fun. This isn't happening. Tide's nearly in. I would like to thank everybody who donated to the Youth Hostel Kids thing, which I put out in yesterday's video, in my last video. Thank you very much. We've raised quite a bit of money, and I'm going to try and film me handing it over later on. Whew. But that's it for the beach today. I can't do it. At least I tried. I have brought you to Lowhaddon Castle. Lowhaddon Castle, I think I've said that right. No, I don't think I've said that right actually, if I'm being honest with you. It's a castle which was built, I bet you can't guess who built this. The bishops. Now, as if they didn't have a good enough property where I've already been, they had to build a castle. Apparently they've got loads of properties which they built back in the 1300s. And this is one of them. The Bishops of St. David built it. It was here until, well, the 1600s. That's when it went into ruins. Because of Henry VIII. Oh yes, Henry VIII's fault. It always is, isn't it? So that is what it would have looked like all them years ago. You see the well in the middle there. Here is the well. Let's take a quick look. It's interesting how all the stones are really white in certain parts, but dark in other parts. So they've obviously used 2 different kinds of stone. I've never really understood how they can get the buckets down the well with them big iron girders across the top, but they did. So all the stonework you see, that was in, I think, the 1300s, 1362 I think they started building that. But the moat you see down at the bottom there, that's from a castle which was here before. There was a wooden one here before. Just going inside here, you've got another well by the look of it. See what I mean? You're not going to get a bucket down there. You'd have to put like really small jugs down the holes and just get a tiny bit of water at a time, unless it was a really long tube. I don't know. So it was Henry VIII who had this place shut down. If you can imagine, this will have been like a bishop's nightclub. It'll have been like a nightclub of its time, being shut down by the King of England. And I wasn't keen on King Henry VIII, but I'm starting to not like these bishops, so I don't think it's a bad thing. You know, get them shut down. The bishops don't need all this stuff. Apparently it was never used for defence or anything, for attacking. It wasn't a proper castle, it was just for show. But it is called a castle. It looks like a castle. It's very castle-y. These steps are modern, I'm telling you now. It's the kind of material they used to use on council estates, like where I were brought up. I don't know anything about any of these buildings, by the way. There's no signs. So you get a very good view of it from up here. As you can see, we've got pretty much 3 sides of the castle left. That side's all gone. And what would happen, I think it was back in the 1600s when this place went into ruin. Since then, local, I don't know, farmers, local people have just ripped them to bits to use the stone on the properties. One interesting story is the roof, right? The roof of this place, one of the bishops actually sold the roof, all the slate off the roof, so that he could raise money to buy his daughter a house. True story is that. This room here, perfect size for a snooker table. So I reckon this was the games room. So that's another castle I can tick off. There's actually dozens and dozens and dozens of castles in Wales. I just couldn't possibly do them all. And I think a lot of them are going to be like that, just ruins, which you're going to get bored of them after a while. So I am still going to go to them, you know, especially if they're free. One thing I do have to point out is how the Welsh spell Wales, okay? It's spelt C-Y-M-R-U. Now, how would you pronounce that? Cymru? Cymru? Oh no, the Welsh don't. Do you know how they pronounce it? Camere. Camere. How do you get Camere out of C-Y-M-R-U? Camere. I know that because I asked a girl in a shop, and I thought she was joking, but no, it's true. Camere. I'm in Camere. This is Camere. Now I've brought you to Wiston Castle. It's hardly a castle. Honestly, my caravan's bigger than this. But it's called a castle. It was built by a guy who was Flemish called Wizo. Best name in the world, W-I-Z-O, Wizo. And he built this, he got given this land by Henry I, King of England. And he built this thing on. Now, he built it in the 1100s, but back then it was made out of wood. It wasn't made out of stone, so what you're seeing now is not the original. This was built in the 1300s. In the 1300s, I thought, you know, wood's not right good. We've heard the nursery rhyme, haven't we? 3 little piggies. Well, they blew on the wood and it blew down, did the wolf, and they rebuilt it out of stone and everyone lived happily ever after. That really is the end of Wiston Castle. There's nothing here. It's just a circle of bricks. Stones, sorry, stones. Not in the best condition. It's on top of a very high hill. I'll give it that. That's the good thing about it. Very windy up here. But when you look down, look, there was a big moat down here, and the only way up was through some steps, but they're not original, they're not these steps. This was the entrance, and the steps went down here. Why Henry I gave this land to a Flemish guy called Wizo, I will never ever know. I'm glad he did, you know, because he did something right with it. He built a castle. He could have just built like a takeaway or a newsagent's, a paper shop, sweet shop, something like that. But he didn't. He put it to good use. He built something here which people can still go and see today. Good old Wizo, the Flemish man. One thing I have noticed what they built in the middle here, a little stool right in the middle. Which is a good idea because it's very flat, there's no furniture, your legs would ache and you wouldn't like to sit down on the floor here, it's like stone floor. So, you know, at least you can bend your knees a bit and relax, sit down take a pew and have a really good look around your little circle of bricks. Stones. So that's the end of Whiston Castle, terrific. So I'm back in the youth hostel, let's bring you up to date with the charity donations. In the last 24 hours, we've got Simone, €10. Spencer and Kendall Hunt, $40. Brian Pearson, $50. Nigel Dutton, £20. Jan DH, that's my initials, €50. Mark and Eileen, £10. Wayne, Lisa and the kids, £10. And Ralph Critch, £30. We are now up to, give me a second, yeah, £31,595. Thank you all so much for donating. At this point, I really wanted to put somebody's video on, doing this instead of me doing this, but I haven't received any videos yet. There's a few people saying they're going to send videos, but they haven't yet. So I'll have to do it myself. Please consider donating by clicking on the links in the description. Go to diggingthecoast.com and click donate and give all that you can to help some seriously ill and terminally ill children have a wish come true at Rays of Sunshine. Thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you for joining yet again on Digging the Coast 365. And I'll see you all tomorrow, bright and early, on another day, another lovely day, and let's hope the sun comes out and we can have lots of time on the beach and find lots of good things and have lots of fun, tell each other jokes, and just love a lot. See you all later on Digging the Coast 365.
Now, don't forget to support Deep Digger Dan's charities by clicking on the link in the description. Woohoo!